What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's nobody but Essence here. If you're new to my channel, hello, and if you are not new to my channel, welcome back. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps with my channel and it helps reach other people, and I would really appreciate the support. So hit the subscribe button, the like button, comment, let me know how you feeling. Let's chit chat, let's talk, let's get to know, let's stay connected. So today's video is going to be about how to move to another city or state. I've done this so many times and I just want to share with other people who feel like they're stuck. Maybe you're at home, maybe you're just somewhere you don't want to be. I know a lot of people, they stay at home forever because they just can't figure out how to move on. So I'm going to be here to help you because I have moved 2 places by myself. And I just want to share my experiences and the things that I had to do to get prepared in order to have that life that I wanted to live, or have that experience, because I'm still experiencing everything. You know, it's never over until God sings, but I'm experiencing everything, and I want to be able to share my experience with you if you are looking to move from where you are and you don't know how to start. So the first thing that I will say is I would advise you to have a plan. You gotta have a plan, and when I mean a plan, it has to be, where am I going? How am I getting there? And when am I going? So literally in that order, like, you gotta have the plan. You have to have the plan. So I relocated to both Atlanta, Georgia and Panama City, Florida. So I'm gonna start with my experience in Atlanta, Georgia. My first experience was not planned at all. The only reason why I was able to make it in Atlanta, Georgia is because I had family there. When I first jumped off the porch, we're gonna say that, I'm coming from Tennessee, because I'm born in Tennessee. I'm raised in North Carolina and Tennessee, but my birthplace on my birth certificate is Tennessee. So I'm with my mom and my dad's side of the family. We all in Tennessee, and I just decide, hey, I want to move to Florida. I decide, hey, I want to move to Georgia. So Atlanta was only like 2 hours away, and I'm like, okay, that's not a bad move. So how I'm gonna get there, I don't know, but what I want to do is I want to be a flight attendant, because I've always just wanted to be a flight attendant. Like, that's a dream job for me that I still haven't got to this day. But we ain't gonna worry about that, because God has a plan for everybody. So I knew what I wanted to do, but I was not sure exactly how I was going to do that. Like, I knew I had to fill out the application or whatever, but I didn't know how I was gonna move to Atlanta. But I did talk to my aunt, and that's the reason why I was able to move forward in the process. But when I did finally move to Atlanta, I had to completely figure out, like, okay, so now I'm here, I want to be a flight attendant. Let me drive by the airport and go talk to somebody at Delta. Because that's the flight attendant airline that I wanted to work for. Did that work? No. Did I do it? Yes, I did. I got stopped at the gate. For one, that's a government agency. They do not allow people on their property unless you actually have some type of appointment, period. Like, you're not getting in. So I'm like, dang. So I turn around and I'm like, they're not hiring. I'm not seeing any posts online about flight attendant, nothing. I'm just like, damn, what am I gonna do? So that's the reason why a plan is so important, because then you don't have to sit there and be wondering, like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? Especially when you're starting out, like, things do tend to change. Hold on. All right, things do tend to change along your journey, because there were so many things that I got into when I was in Atlanta. Like my first job when I was there, I worked at a warehouse actually. It was not even, no flight attendant, nothing. But I did still keep trying to become a flight attendant. And I actually had an interview with Delta. Like I made it to the 3rd round out of like 5. And the only part that I didn't make it to was the actual interview at the corporate hub, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. So I had an interview with a flight attendant from New York over Skype. And I passed all the other questions and everything that they have. You do like 3 other little interviews without actually talking to somebody. And then the 3rd round was like, well, yeah, I actually get to be interviewed by a real person. But you have like all these questionnaires and things like that. And I actually passed them all. This was right before COVID. So I'm kind of happy that it didn't work out, because on my 3rd round, I didn't make it to the 4th round. But then boom, there's COVID, and then everybody lost their jobs and the whole world just went backwards. So meanwhile, I touched a lot of other things and I learned a lot about myself when I was in Atlanta, and it actually taught me a lot of things. And that's the reason why now, fast forward to where I am now in Florida, Panama City, I was able to actually learn and grow from the situations that I went through when I was back in Atlanta. So how I got to Panama City, Florida, we're gonna fast forward into that. And I'm gonna make a vlog about some of the things that I experienced when I was in Atlanta, like the film industry. That's the reason why I'm here today doing vlogs, because that's another reason why I found myself, and maybe a lot of things that don't work out for us isn't supposed to work out for us, because the universe has other things planned for us to be able to continue and learn on our journey. And it opens up these portals inside of us, and that's the reason why we end up loving other things that we did not know that, you know, we love ever. So yes, fast forward to Florida, Panama City. I was transitioning from Atlanta, Georgia, and I was like, I've always wanted to move to Florida. I was kind of over Atlanta, Georgia, because there was a lot of things that was going on that, for one, yeah, I wasn't really feeling. And then the traffic bad, like, it was a lot. And it was just like every single day for 6 years, I had been dealing with it, and I was just ready for change. But I also, I feel like I was a mermaid in my past life. So the water has always been calling me. So it's like, you know, let's go to Florida. Like always, since I was 7 years old, I wanted to move and be living by the ocean. So that's why I manifested that, and I actually made it happen. I feel like it was a part of my journey, and because I actually done my part as an earthly being, and I actually thought about what I needed to do so it can work out smoothly, that actually happened. Will my journey change? Could I be back in Atlanta? Could I be in Miami? Could I be in California? Could I be out of the country? Yes. But as of today, this is where I am. This is what I wanted, and this is how I got it. So I actually planned this out. So I actually looked for jobs, because I knew that when I got there, I was gonna wanna work, because I don't know anybody, and I didn't wanna just be sitting around like not doing nothing. And also I knew that health insurance is a necessity. I don't care what you do, but you gotta have some good health insurance, and anything can happen. Like I'm thinking like, you know, I'm gonna be by myself, because you know, it's nobody but Essence. I'm gonna be by myself on this journey, and my family is 7 hours away. So I have to make sure that if anything happens to me, it's not just gonna be like I'm digging myself in a deeper hole. So I actually was looking for work around Panama City and just seeing what type of jobs they had and stuff like that. Like Panama City is like a small tourist town, so it's not a whole lot you can do besides like they got like a lot of resorts here, and hospitality. Like that's pretty much it. Like you're gonna work at a restaurant. There is real estate here, which is good if you were into real estate. I am going to be into real estate, but I'm currently not into real estate right this second, so I'm really not familiar with it. But I actually came across a job that I was actually familiar with, that I actually previously worked when I was in Tennessee, which is a federal job. So that's how I got to Panama. I applied, boom, I got the job. I came down for my fingerprints. I done everything I was supposed to do, background check, all that, boom, your start date, boom, I was here. So, but first, I feel like I just skipped over something, hold on. First, Florida is such a big state. Yes, I wanted to move to Florida. What part did I want to move to Florida? I was not sure. I actually was testing out Miami, and if you see my other vlog, when I spent Christmas there, I actually ended up staying in Miami for almost a month. Cause I'm like, I want to see what Miami life is like. So I stayed there, and Miami is the place where I would go back, even though I made those videos about it. But I guess I just wasn't feeling it at the time, because I was just like, I was by myself, and I'm just like, no, not right now. And so I looked around Florida, like I looked around more Florida just to see what other places that I would like. And I did like Tampa, and I like Tampa, because I always did want to move to Tampa, but like I like anywhere where there's a beach. Like I looked at Orlando, but Orlando doesn't have a beach. I'm not gonna drive an hour away to go to the beach when I know I like to be at the beach a lot, because I go there almost once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. It just depends. So I did some research, and I was like, Destin is my goal, and I wanted to be close to Destin. So I know my job, like if it took my job, I would transfer to Destin eventually in my near future. We're not gonna say future, because I ain't working for nobody forever. Like, no. So that's the major big goal. We're not gonna work for nobody forever. We're gonna build our own, but we're going to use these now transitions to transition ourselves to where we want to be. So that's another thing. You got to think about like, what jobs can I get, and how is this going to benefit me to benefit my own stuff whenever I get there. So anyways, yeah, so I was just looking around Florida, and then I'm just like, oh, Panama City. So that's how I came across Panama City. And then I looked up the jobs in Panama City, and then I Googled the job that I wanted, and the job in Panama City was actually hiring. So I applied for it. I looked for places to live, and it all ended up going smooth. So that's the point that I'm getting at. Like, you have to have a plan, because you have to know why you're moving somewhere, or why you want to move somewhere, what you're going to do when you get there, and how you're going to get there. Because if you can't connect the dots, then it's just gonna be very, very, very confusing, and it's probably not gonna work the way that you want it to work, because it's rocky. It's not a smooth transition. And if you are one of those people that you take the risk and you just go, and you just are like, whatever happens, just happens, then okay, cool. Like I did it like that too. When I moved to Atlanta, like I did. I was just like, you know what, whatever, like I'm just ready to move from Tennessee. And actually I was okay. So it's not a bad thing, because God is gonna have your back regardless of the situation. Like if you are a very spiritual person, then you'll be fine. If you stay connected, and God knows like this person is really trying, you're not polluting a bunch of negative energy and stuff like that around people, and you're trying to work on yourself, God 9 times out of 10 gonna open some doors for you. But I wouldn't recommend you do that all the time, because eventually, I mean, it's nothing wrong with sitting down and planning out your next destination, you know. So for me, I wanted to make sure, like, on my journey, it ain't no going back, because that's what ends up happening. If you don't plan, then you end up possibly have to go back home. So you want to just make sure that you have a set plan for yourself whenever you transition to the next place, so you don't have to worry about that. So I started my job, and actually I did not move until I got that date, and I started, and it was a little rocky for me when I first got here, because right away, like when my job sent me the offer letter in my email and I had to accept it, it was literally a month later after I was moving. Like, it was a month later, like 30 days after I actually was in Panama City. So everything happened like really fast, and I was already looking for apartments, and I was like calling around and stuff like that. That's why it is important for you to know like these things in advance. And I'm gonna keep saying that because I mean, I'm in a tourist town, so from my experience, I didn't know exactly I never been here until I actually came to get my fingerprints. But then I knew, like, from my fingerprints, okay, well, I'm about to be like, this is about to start for me. I never lived there before, so I didn't know what it was like or nothing. But I was calling apartments and stuff like that, and a lot of their stuff was kind of booked up because in Panama City they had a hurricane back in 2018 that was really bad, Hurricane Michael, and it literally destroyed almost the whole city of Panama. So a lot of the places are still, like, even now with me driving around, like, I see places that are still under construction, or they are just completely damaged. Like, they have not even been fixed. So they're working on rebuilding things, but now the population, it's been 3 years ago. So yeah, you are gonna have people that's going to migrate, and they're gonna move to different places regardless, because like me, like, hey, I want to live near the beach, you know, and I don't really know too much about Panama, and I didn't really see all that until I actually got my job and I moved here. And that's when I was able to, like, explore the city and actually see the places that had damage still. So they're still, like, rebuilding apartment complexes and things like that. But with all the people that was here, they just all have, you know, they have their homes still, and they're recovering from Hurricane Michael 3 years later, or either they are all moving into apartments and they're staying there for years. So until the city actually rebuilds itself, because a lot of people lost their homes and stuff like that, like, they're all in apartments. So it was kind of like a battle for me, because I was like, okay, well, I have, you know, this place, but I don't even know where that is. I'm trying to be, like, close to my job. Like, I'm trying to figure out everything, because I was working on Panama City Beach. Like, I'm like on the beach, and I wasn't, to live on the beach is, like, extremely expensive. Now that I know exactly, like, my income and my stability, I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to be hard for me to find somewhere to live on the beach, because they actually have more vacancies than anybody. But now I kind of know, like, you want to know how much income you're going to be having, and you're going to want to be able to afford everything, because once again, you don't want to go backwards. Credit is such a big deal, and you don't want to be living somewhere and you are sinking underwater. So I'm just like, you know, my goal was to move to the beach eventually, but it wasn't going to be right when I first got here, because I like the city. Like, there's nothing wrong with Panama City versus the beach. The beach has a lot of traffic. So when I moved here in April, I was like, oh shit, like, I just moved from Atlanta, and I don't want to deal with all these people, because that's the tourist area. So you know, that was pretty much it. I just stayed on the other side. I actually ended up finding a place that wasn't far from my job, and it was like, I would say about less than 15 minutes to get there. So all I had to do is cross over a bridge that linked Panama City Beach to Panama City, and I stayed on the other side of the bridge in Panama City that is like right there, and then you cross over the bridge and then you're in Panama City Beach, and then my job was just like up the street around the corner, blah blah blah. So it wasn't really a bad transition for me. But when I first got here, all I had settled was actually like my start date and things. Like I had to get check stubs and I had to get an offer letter in order to actually get settled, and it took me like 2 months to do that. So I lived in a hotel for 2 months, and then I actually moved out, and boom. Living in a hotel is so expensive, y'all. I never lived in one before, and I'm just like, wow. Like, I mean, utilities and everything is included, but that's not really the route you want to go unless you just have to go that route. Kind of like in my situation, everything happened so fast, so it was like boom boom bam and boom, I was here and I was starting work. And then it took me like, I would say, I actually tried to get my offer letter before I moved here, but I guess because the way that the system works in the federal, people end up really not even showing up for the job. So my job did not want to mess with me. They didn't want to mess with me, and so they actually knew like, this girl is here, and they knew that I was coming from out of town. So it could have been like it could have been a hit or miss in my situation, and I understand that. But everything's good now, and I'm here. I'm in this place that I live, and I plan to move to the beach by the end of my lease of this current place. So yeah, you just want to have a plan. I knew where I wanted to go, and I looked for work there, and I actually didn't take any work, because you can't just take any work. Depends on how you want to live. If you want to make some real money, then you're going to be looking for jobs that are more the pay grade is better, and you can actually make money and survive and have some. So my goal is actually, like I said, to work for myself. But if you actually want to do that, you need to just build off of what you already have. So you have to kind of work, and you gotta hustle yourself, and know what you want to do. Like, you gotta know what you want to do when it comes to that too. So it's like, you gotta know what you're working for, you gotta know what you're building for. But as of right now, everything is pretty worked out for me. In transitioning, I am starting to learn more of Panama City, and I'm getting more familiar with everything around me, and what areas that I like and what areas I don't like, where I want to live, and such and such. So it's really that simple, but people make it seem like it's not. But it's really a simple transition. Like, moving is from like state to state, city to city, is really not a hard thing to do. I met some people while I was living down here, and they're actually from another country. And if you can move from another country to another country, then you can move from another state to another state. So it's not anything that's like impossible. You literally just have a plan. And the people that I know actually that moved here from another country actually had a plan, and you just have to pretty much, everybody just gotta take the time out to know what it is that you want, or you're just not gonna be able to really achieve your goal. Because I've learned that things here, they're not as easy, but it's not far-fetched. Like, it's not nothing that you can't do for real. So if you want to do it, you're gonna make it happen. You can get on that computer, you're gonna think it like, where do I want to live? How am I gonna get there and when? It don't matter the order. Where do I want to live? When am I gonna get there and how? Like, it doesn't matter, but you just need to know those are the 3 top things that you need to know when you're trying to move somewhere, and what am I going to be doing? So this video was to really inspire people who are in the same situation that I was in when I kept saying, like, I want to move to Florida, I want to move to Florida, who's actually trying to make it happen. And whoever just has dreams and goals, like, this ain't a complete dream. I want to live in Florida, and I do want to have a home here and retire. Like, when it comes to my business or whatever, like, do business, I want to have my kids here, my family here, and you know, just actually build here, because it's a very beautiful place. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But as of right now, like, you do what you have to do, and you just have to keep it pushing, and you have to never forget, never ever forget what it is that you really want, because you really can just manifest it. So if you got nothing out of this today, then you just need to know that nothing is impossible, and that's just that. So hopefully you guys like this video. Comment, share, and it's simple as that. I don't even have anything else to say, but do it. That's it. And work. You're gonna work hard. You work hard to keep what you got. You don't move somewhere and you don't work and have a job and then you quit, because then shit just starts going wrong. So you don't want to, you just gotta grow up. Like, you cannot move somewhere and be on no immature, childish type stuff. You just can't. Like, we trying to keep this going. We're trying to build, and we're trying to keep moving and going forward. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my wine. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to Nobody But Essence. My channel is all over the place. I don't have just a certain type of video or type of lane. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, I don't want to fabricate my channel. I also want to help people to know that things are not impossible, and I want to help people who need it, because all of that lifestyle, when it comes to how I got my this and that and my Chanel bag and all this other stuff, like, that's cool, but what about the people who need help to know how to elevate and how to keep themselves going and have what they want? So Nobody But Essence, thank you for watching this video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Good night.